Soon we're going to talk about if statements in Matlab, and if statements are very important in programming. The basic syntax of them is if, and then you get a true-false statement. If the statement is true, then you do one thing. If the statement is false, then you do something else. So before we talk about that, I want to talk about how true and false themselves are represented in Matlab. So as an example, let me write down 3 less than 10. I'm thinking of this as a true-false statement. I'm thinking of this as asking the question, is 3 less than 10? Okay, maybe I had some variables like x equals 3, y equals 10, and then I might have been asking, is x less than y? Okay, this would be a reason we might ask a question like this. Maybe we don't know what the values of the variables x and y are. Okay, get the same answer. Either way, the way Matlab represents true is with the number 1. 3 is less than 10, so it gives me true, which it represents as a number 1. If I had done the exact opposite, if I had done is 3 greater than 10, okay, I'm going to get false. What do you think false is? False is 0. And those are the only two, so it's not like anything else shows up, just these two numbers, 0 and 1. Matlab calls these logical. Another phrase for these is Boolean, B-O-O-L-E-A-N. So in addition to strictly less than and strictly greater than, like I've just done, I could also do less than or equal to 10. Okay, that's still true. Or I could have done greater than or equal to 10. Okay, that's still false. What about equals? That's a more important one. What if I want to ask, does x equal y? And I've made a mistake here. Does anyone know what the mistake is? So let's evaluate it. So I didn't get 0 or 1. Okay, I got something else. I got x equals 10. Why is that? That's because we've been using this equals all the time already. We use it to say, set the left-hand variable, set that equal to the right-hand variable. So what if I had done 3 equals 10? Okay, am I going to get false? Am I going to get 0? Nope, I get an error because it's trying to assign some numerical value 10 to this other numerical value 3, and that doesn't work. Okay, it worked up here when I was using variables because then it was able to set the variable x to be whatever value y was. If I had done x equals z, okay, I can see over here in the workspace that there is no z, so this is also going to give me an error. Okay, it says undefined function or variable z. So how do I ask, does 3 equal 10, or how do I ask, does x equal y? So let me show you. You do it with 2 equal signs. You ask 3 equals 10. Okay, and now I get a true-false output. Now I get 0, which represents false. Okay, we can see over here that x and y are equal. So if I do x equals y, then I get true. One of the very special things inside of Matlab is that you can do these same kind of operations like equals or less than. You can do them with vectors. So let me show you an example. Say I do v equals 17, 10, 8. Okay, some length 3 vector. Say I do w equals 5, 12, negative 1. Okay, some other length 3 vector. And then I can ask, is v less than w? Okay, and at first it might not be obvious why we'd ever want to do something like this, but it shows up surprisingly frequently. And so what did it do? I compared two 1x3 matrices, these two length 3 row vectors, and at first compared the first entries, asked, is 17 less than 5? No, it's not. So that's why I have this 0 here. It's saying false, 17 is not less than 5. Then it did, is 10 less than 12? That's true, so it gave me this 1. And then it did, is 8 less than this negative 1? No, it's not less than, so it gave me 0. Okay, that's all related to this strictly less than sign. And one of the reasons this is really helpful, this ability to compare vectors entry-wise, is because of two additional functions that are called any and all. Let me show you these. say I do any v less than w. Okay, so this is the exact same as saying any and then the old output. It's the exact same as saying any 0, 1, 0. And how you should think of any, it's like or in the Math 13 sense. It's saying, is the first true, or the second true, or the third true, and so on for however long the vectors are. So in this case, it says, yes, at least one of them was true. If I had done all v less than w, okay, then you should think of that as like and. So it's asking, is the first one true, and the second one true, and the third one true? And this is going to be false. So one other thing I can do is I can say v, is that equal to, how about 8? And so what it does here is it compares each of the entries of v, the 17, 10, and 8, it compares those to 8. And it says, no, not 8, no, not 8, yes, it's 8. And I could have done the same thing, like, are any of them equal to 8? Okay, remember to use two equal signs. And it says, yes, one of them's equal to 8. If I had tried to do, is v equal to, how about the vector 2, 6? Okay, then I get an error. I was allowed to compare two length 3 vectors. I was allowed to compare a vector to a number, but I'm not allowed to compare a length 3 vector to a length 2 vector. And here it's telling me that the matrix dimensions have to agree.